Alex Becker. He's the guy that I had a conversation with. He's the guy that, he didn't, he wasn't the first person to lay eyes upon my work. Let's put it that way. But he's the first person to broadcast it to a population of people that was able to sell it out for me. He bought 4 pieces himself. Then he sent me a DM and he was like your work. I just want to put you in touch with some other people if you like. Justin Arizona was one from the Twin Flames. He suggested a couple people who were going through that as well, that sudden rush of success. Absolutely in no way do you drop now. You ride it out, you wait. If the work is good enough, people will continue to buy it beyond your control. And then eventually there will be a sensation of FOMO. Every single thing he said came true. Every single thing.
Fire. Hell yeah. Okay, cool.
How do I look? Do I look okay?
You looking good, bro. You looking good. And hold on. I remember when we first talked, I was so shocked because I didn't know what you were going to look like. And I didn't know what to expect, but I just wasn't expecting that. And I was like, whoa.
Oh, man. Okay.
I'll take that, man. All right. Hit it.
All right. So, we can just get right into it. Guys, this is Fidel Emos. This is Fidel. Well, you probably know him as FidelEverywhere on Twitter. We met through Twitter. He found I guess we already went through this in the first one. We'll just look a quick recap, or unless you want to, because I gave it last time. If you want to give the recap this time.
I think it's your show, man. You should,
okay.
You're probably a better speaker than I am talking about myself.
So I basically was shilling my project out. I'm not exactly sure how you found it, but probably just by luck. And Fidel tweeted my stuff out. He'd been doing this, and basically he tweeted my stuff out, and my project sold out like immediately. I reached out to him to like say thanks, and like we started talking a little bit, and like one thing leads to another. Oh, also let's see if you can see this. So share screen. So this is the girl that I did the same what you did to me. Basically, I did the exact same. I went and like bought her thing. I tweeted about it. I think her collection sold out right after. And I remember me and her message, and it was like the coolest thing ever. And then same with this dude. I bought a couple of this guy's pieces. Shout out Muffins. Me and him talking a bit on Twitter. I think you actually may follow him too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I think I bought a couple of his pieces as well.
Hell yeah, dude. So talk to me about this because hold on. Well, welcome back to your Joyage, guys. It's Cade, your god of your place in the voice actor for now, giving you a break from the constant internal monologue that is the human mind. I want to say first, thank you for listening or viewing on whatever platform you're on. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, drop a like in this video so that people can find the voyage. If you haven't already, follow Joyage Podcast on TikTok and Instagram to follow up and stay like in the know for everything. Yeah, we'll get started. So yeah. So I don't even know where I was going with that, but basically these guys, we followed both of these guys. I just want to talk about your like, there we go.
I love your setup, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the first time, or the second time I've recorded in here. I'm at my parents' house right now, so I'm doing a little break from the traveling.
That's how we all started in our parents' house.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm going to be here for a little bit, I think, because the plan was to move to Minnesota or Washington. And, I don't know, we're at like a pivotal point in the NFT and crypto market. So
was it Arizona?
I'm in Colorado right now.
Oh, she's in Colorado again.
Yeah. So I'm here right now. I'm stopping the traveling thing for now. I think I've traveled enough for this little spout. So I'm taking a little break and staying here for a little bit because the crypto market's in a very pivotal time. I want to like save up as much money as I can just because I don't know what's gonna happen. But anyways,
I think we all are, yeah.
Yeah, it's just so exciting, dude. And your shit's blowing up. So we'll talk about this. We'll talk about your black and white days in a second here. But you basically, ever since your first black and white nights, you've just been blowing up, dude. Like. What?
Buying stuff. that's how you blow up. You just buy everybody's art.
My God.
I'll be honest. I don't think it was really something that happened because of the collection. It was something that happened more, I think, because of the amount of followers. Because I'm doing exactly the same thing I was doing since February, since March. I always set aside a little bit of money that I made. I'm not going to give percentages because it always changes, but I like to set a piece aside to buy back into the art. So even in March and April, I was buying, I started small on Hickanook and Calumet and places. Well, Calumet wasn't there yet, but just coming up. So I started on Tezos buying pieces and I got addicted. So when my collection blew up, I think what happened was that it just put more money into that fund.
Yeah.
And so I was able to buy pieces that are, I guess you could say, more visible because I was doing it already. So I think it's just the fact that now instead of just buying the little Hickanook and Calumet and Tezos platforms, I'm making bids on Foundation. I'm buying pieces from Known Origin. I'm buying pieces from direct from OpenSea collections and stuff. And I don't think I'm going to stop. I don't think I'm going to stop anytime soon. Yeah, I just love it, man. I'm addicted to love, man. Like I've always had a lot of love for my family, a lot of support. I've always had a lot of love for my friends and people who had my back for different things at different point in my life. I was very blessed in my life. And so through that, I guess you could say organically, I started to try to give to others. And it's so easy to do in this market. I mean, there's no secret. There's no, real big scam or plot or pyramid scheme. All I do is I use a little bit of the money that I sold my work with, and I buy from other artists that I strongly believe will blow themselves up or blow up themselves. And so when that happens, and I would say I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm about 9 out of 10 right now. I think
Wow.
maybe 8 out of 10. Yeah. One of them, like I just wasn't on Twitter, and so the feedback didn't start, and they didn't interact with everybody, and the collection just kind of faltered. But I think everybody else has sold out their collections. So when that happened, I buy 2 pieces, sometimes 3. I sell back 1 or 2. I keep one that I like, and then I use that money to buy into more artists. It's a never-ending chain.
It's the coolest thing ever to watch because I remember, we were just talking about this in the DMs, but I remember when it happened to me, I was driving around in my car doing it literally in the middle of a DoorDash order, in a double order actually. So I was already stressing, and then I get all these notifications, and I'm just like panicking, like, what do I do? Do I like? I didn't know what to do, and like now I see it like every single day it happens, and it's insane.
It's the best, man. Yeah, it's totally the best. And it's not. That's the other thing. It's not magic. I'm not some kind of mastermind with some scheme that's like telling people what to do. I'm just pointing out people. These people. There's so many. There's so many artists. There's so many hundreds and thousands of artists out there that you could easily just say, this is sellable work. I'm simply using my speaker or my platform to point to those people. I don't tell people go buy. I just say, this is nice. I bought a piece. This is how much it costs, and then it happens,
Talk to me about the other side of it. So I assume that since you started doing this, since you started blowing up with it, especially, I'm sure there's people in your DMs saying like, hey man, like how much can I pay you to show my art or like whatever, something along those lines.
All the time. And I'll tell you the truth. I will say yes to the right people, but it's not, let's say, smaller people. It won't be artists. If I say yes to people, it will be either companies or sponsors, or I would absolutely love to be some kind of an advocate or ambassador for, a photography company or a gallery or something. Like it would be amazing. But I won't have smaller artists paying me money to do something that I can do for free.
Sure.
Now, if let's think extremely big things that I've seen other artists do, if Nikon or Canon or someone like that, says, hey, we'll pay you a little bit of money to, then obviously I'll become a paid sponsor. But
dude, I didn't even think about that.
There's no, big plans, brother, big plans.
Well, because
that's how you get bigger. That's how you do it for more. That's my only goal, is to do it for more people. That's it. Now I do it maybe realistically 3 or 4 people a week. They have a little success because I'm pointing the light in their direction. But imagine if you could create, schools of art or foundations for art, galleries and things like that, where dozens or hundreds of people could go and take advantage of that and be able to use that. That's where I'm trying to go now. So
no, that's
your hair is amazing. Look at this.
Thank you. It's,
I mean, I thought, I like the long hair too. It's a little lower, but your hair's fantastic.
Wait, hold on. I was gonna ask because if I ever cut my hair, which I really don't think I will. I really like my long hair. I've had nightmares about getting my hair cut. But anyways, you have the back of your hair buzzed, right? Under?
Yeah. All the sides like this up to the top. So it's just the I don't know, the man bun extended,
Is
but it
it?
works for me.
What does it feel like when it's down? Is it cooler?
It's the same almost. It's
Oh.
just it's cooler physically, and also you just have that less, you know what I mean? Instead of your hair being on top of other hair to create the row, there's just nothing for it to fall on. So it's cleaner on your neck. Yeah, I did it because it was cleaner for me, instead of doing the line all the time and like I'm so busy. So
Yeah.
I'll eventually go back to the mohawk, but you never saw the mohawk
I never
before
saw
your
it.
time. I'll shoot you a DM of me and the mohawk. Yeah, those were the
Fire.
good old days.
Fire. Here, hold on. Let me let's actually I actually have a question. This is a question from I think like Twitter or somewhere. But is there a bear market, or what is the market like for art? Because there's way different from PFP projects and stuff like that.
That's a good question. And I have to be honest, it's a question that I still ask myself because something I try to do is I try to have knowledge of different things, even though, let's say, master of one in particular. Photography is my thing. It's been my thing for a long, long time. Even if I was horrible at it, it's something that I've been doing, 15, 16 years. So I focus on that because I know that, like I said, 9 times out of 10, I'm correct in a sense based purely on experience. But I'm actually now trying to branch out into the market of art. And it's interesting because I don't know how stock markets and things like that work other than it's a market that you follow. It has its ups and downs. You lose or you make money. It seems to me that the art world is exactly like that now. It's a stock market of art on OpenSea, I like to think that deep inside I'm just appreciating good work. But now after this point with ETH to spend and ETH to invest and money that I can lose or gain, and because of that, I can give to others or cannot give to others in that particular time period, I'm following more what really makes money. And what really makes money, honestly, to me, are not the things that we generally consider traditional art. What really makes money are the 10Ks, the collections that are, how do you say, just the FOMO when it's created, people start going and buying into that. What really makes money is not going to be, in my opinion, the one for ones. The things that, unless you're an artist who's making 2, 3, 4 ETH for every one for one that you're dropping once a week or 2 weeks, you're probably not going to sustain yourself too long, in this. Well, this is just my opinion, that it's better for you if you branch out a little bit. That's what I'm trying to get to. So the market as a whole, I think, is still, the ceiling is infinite. People who spend money decide what the market will be worth. Us as artists, we put our market out and we can have the value on it that we put down, but it's really not worth that value until someone pays money for that. I don't think that the whole, the Bitcoin where they're saying when the Bitcoin rises, the market drops, and then when Bitcoin drops, the market is rising. In my mind, that would correlate to people either putting their money into Bitcoin or putting their money into NFTs. And it seems like there's a much bigger market out there. It's not one thing related to the other. But I think the market for art is unlimited, because you think, I'll make a certain base, and then out of nowhere you sell a piece for like 10 ETH. And that doesn't make any sense compared to the ones I was selling for 1 ETH. How did that happen? Or who's the woman who she's a good photographer too. I just came upon her work. I think Catherine, or I don't want to say incorrectly. She sold the photo for 100 ETH, and she took all of the rights.
My God.
And she made them global rights, so that if someone bought that, anyone in the world could openly use that photo. It's one of the first of its kind, this open contract. So you say the market's not going anywhere, and then someone sells one piece, one NFT for 300 grand. It's up in the air. I don't think it's dying anytime soon. I don't think that it's a phase that people are going to get over. I still think we're so early, so incredibly early. I feel like I felt when I was playing Atari, here you go. This will date me. Okay. I remember being one of the first people I knew that played Atari, just the joystick with the button. I was like 5 years old or 6 years old. No one knew what it was. No one had it. No one had any idea that there were video game systems that were not stand-up arcade or pinball machines. You know, I feel like we're in that stage. That after
Yeah.
that is going to come Nintendo and Genesis and PlayStation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I really think it's going to be unlimited. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
The last like week or so, I'm like obsessed with them. Like I don't know how like into everything you are, but I'm like completely like obsessed. So I'm like all the way in there, and you know, some people are pretty bearish, some people are pretty bullish. I'm pretty much in the middle because while everything is kind of going down a little bit, there's things happening every day that are blowing up. Like I've seen like 7 or 8 influencer projects that have literally blown up in the last like 3 days. And then artists' work is still selling. Some aren't, but then some are. So I feel like it's just kind of like this, you know. It's not like this or this yet.
I feel like it's like this, like you said, but with a steady incline.
yes.
I feel like a year from now, we'll be speaking about things that are miles ahead of what you and I are talking about. We won't all be fighting over 0.1 ETH anymore. I feel like we're just going to be in a world where it's, you know, okay, every piece is 0.5 ETH and we're going up. I don't see anything that tells me that it's slowing down because I get my information basically from people, not from perspectives or, you know, information online. I just ask people what they think and I talk to people about it. No one seems to be saying anymore it's a scam, you know, like it was 3 or 4 or 5 months ago. 8 months ago, I couldn't even say the word NFT to anybody because no one had any idea what it was. People hadn't sold, you know, millions of dollars worth of work yet. And it was just kind of a thing that I was curious about since New Year's because my brother told me about it because, you know, being in the photography world, it's another medium to be able to sell your work. But I think it's just moving up. And not only because of the little success I've had, but just because everything that you do in this world, like you said, it's so fast and it moves so fast that if you start doing it now, eventually you get to a point where you're in the wave.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the markets moving fast, when we had first talked, and I'd asked you like, when are you thinking about dropping your second collection? In my probably more naive opinion at that point, I was like, man, he's got to launch like within the next day, or he's gonna get left behind. He's gonna be left in the dust because the market moves so quick. But you stuck to your guns. You waited like a month or I don't know what it was.
August 20th or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you dropped it.
5-6 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take no credit for that. I take absolutely no credit for that. Here it is officially world. Here it is officially. Alex Becker. He's the guy that I had a conversation with. He's the guy that, you know, he wasn't the first person to lay eyes upon my work. Let's put it that way. But he's the first person to broadcast it to a population of people that was able to sell it out for me. He bought 4 pieces himself. Then he sent me a DM and he was like your work. You know, I just want to put you in touch with some other people if you like. Justin Arizona was one from the Twin Flames. You know, he suggested a couple people who were going through that as well, that sudden rush of success. And he gave me some suggestions on how to prolong that success. And one of the things that he did suggest, and I don't want to make it sound like we had hour-long conversations because he doesn't do that kind of thing. But he sent me a few messages. When you put them together, they came up with this great set of advice. And one of those things was absolutely in no way do you drop now. You ride it out, you wait. If the work is good enough, people will continue to buy it beyond your control. And then eventually there will be a sensation of FOMO. And that's where you begin to make royalties, you know. And he told me flat out, I invest in certain people. You know, I have 4 of your pieces now. If you ride this wave out, then we'll all make money. It wasn't like, you know, I don't want people to think that it was like, oh my God, your art is amazing. And, you know, I'm putting my trust and faith in you. He made an investment. And I believe that he made the right investment because every single thing he said came true. Every single thing.
Dude, the guy is like I don't know what is in his brain, but that man is like, some of the people in this space are just like, I don't get it.
He's built for it. You have to remember that I don't know his age, but there's a certain generation of us. I'm 44, so I would imagine he's maybe 30, 35.
I think he's in his mid, like early 30s.
Yeah. So in that generation, it's still the generation of people who grew up in a time where technology was advancing very, very quickly, but the things you could do with that technology had not yet sprung forth. You know, so we've had the ability to do this a decade. You know, we've had the ability to do streaming and Twitch and all those things and make money and Instagram and become influencers a decade ago, 15 years ago, technically, when applications started coming out. You know, we've had this ability, but society had to catch up to those things. And in that middle, in my opinion, there's a generation of us that had all this technological knowledge just from learning phones and learning beepers and learning Commodore 64, you know. Now we're realizing that we can make money that way. So the last 10 years, you see this huge spike of people who have no, I guess you could say, not street skills, that's the wrong thing. Everyday, regular 9 to 5, they have no desire to do that, you know, but they have knowledge that's helpful for these computer things, you know, and I fall in that category because I could have easily sold out the thing and let it ride and then had no research or done any kind of, you know what I mean? But I've constantly been, I mean, I'm on the computer 8, 9 hours a day, brother.
Same.
You know? No shame. And if I can be on the computer 8, 9 hours a day and make 5, 6 grand a week, that's my job.
Yeah.
Like I can't try to make something else out of it. That's my work. And I think when people realize that, the potential that they have is endless. Like the first guy who pointed a camera at his face, you know, like you're doing, and said, I just want to talk to people and I want other people to watch me do that. You know, seemed crazy when YouTube first came out 12, 13, 14, 15 years ago. Seemed crazy that people would watch other people watching and talking to other people. We created these jobs for ourselves. So I think if you put time into it, you know, if you really focus on making it your job instead of like a 1 hour a day thing where you're just working 9 to 5 and then you come home and you get on the computer for a little bit. I mean, I don't plan on going back to work like a lot. You know, even now my schedule is half what it was, you know. When I got into NFTs going into that spring semester, February, working at the university, I was working at 4 schools. 2 of them were, let's say, half-time, and then the other 2 were freelance where I would go and do certain classes. COVID went crazy. The 2 that I was doing freelance, they just basically closed up because people couldn't travel around and they were not big enough to have a system of online, you know, schooling. And so now I only work for the 2 schools, the college and the fashion school, where I teach photography and English. But I'm not going to be looking for other work like I would normally do every year around this time. You know, I'm just going to write out my little half schedule and put my focus into this. I mean, why not? It's
hell yeah.
I've already made way more than I would have made in the year of working, you know, and I can keep doing it, then why not? We'll see.
Well, you said something interesting a minute ago. So I think it was Gary Vee talks about how entrepreneurship is a skill that can be learned and developed, but also it's also a talent that's natural for some people. I noticed for me, because you mentioned when you were a kid, you were playing these like whatever video games, I guess you would call them back then. Not to date you that much, but like,
they're still called video games.
I had a Nintendo 64,
so I guess I didn't know if the word was still video game. I didn't know if there's like a different word or something. Because I played those anyways. I have zero talent for entrepreneurship, none naturally. I have noticed over the past few years, I picked up some skills in entrepreneurship and ways of thinking by watching other people, by practicing and like doing all that stuff. But this like NFT world and like being in it all the time is like growing just different parts of like your mental skills, you know, like I guess with entrepreneurship, different ways of thinking outside the box, thinking creatively in a digital marketing way, like the way you've let me pull this up. So this is incredible what you've done with, here we go. So it's this bit, update on artists I'm supporting. It's become iconic. It's become infused with your name. I mean, when you see this, you're like, oh, someone's day is about to be made, and every single time it happens. And all right, let me go back now. But it's become
He does some
Marketing.
good work, by the way.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yeah, those things are amazing. Yeah, like see things like that. How was that entire? I think it was 20 pieces.
Mm.
How was that sitting there untouched? Maybe not. Maybe he had a sale or two, or she. I don't believe we know gender. But how did they? How was that work just sitting there? You
Yeah.
know, I found it simply because someone shilled me, and so I went to look at it. They said, "Have you seen this art?" You know, and I went to look at it. It's so the world is so big on NFTs. It's not like walking into a gallery or old style. You know, you go to a photo store, a video store, and you have a certain selection of what you can look at, and that's it. Like your reach doesn't expand any further than that. There are innumerable ways for people to run across art, to see your stuff. The biggest way to do that is to constantly be present, and not just present, but spamming and scamming and throwing out stuff like that, bulk mail. But I mean, being present and reactive. That's the thing. People talk to me, I talk to them. People DM me, I DM them back. I apologize for not being able to get to all of them, but I am doing like 10 a day because they're just big DMs.
Mm-hmm.
People make a message and they say, have a look at my art. You know, those like the post that I was talking about the other day that was, show me your art, show me your stuff. And they never go back and talk to those people. They never like the comments. They never retweet anything. It's just hundreds of comments on each post, and it just keeps going like this. They're not real. They're not looking at your stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just buying the stuff that I believe will sell. There are many pieces that I just buy flat out, and I say, I just want this. I think I have like 600 now in my collection.
Oh my God.
But there are a lot of motives to what I'm doing, Like I think we even said it before, Cade, that formula I was talking about. If I buy something, if I see something and I believe that it's good enough work where multiple people will buy it, I talk about it. Because if multiple people buy that thing and then I buy that thing, and then the collection process starts where you buy it and then sometimes you sell it again, and then bigger collectors come. If it goes and does what I did, I'm just following that formula. So the artist will get paid. The artist will make royalties. It's the only thing I think that really matters in the end.
Camera just shut off for a second.
I have to put nice things behind my wall so I can get a nice little setup, do some streaming. I'm gonna start doing some streaming.
Well, yeah. Hold on. So the first time we recorded, you were like recording in some, like living room on a coffee table on a couch. Did you move or something, or like?
Yeah. So not built a studio, but took a room that we had extra in our apartment, and it was like an expanded dining room. We just moved all the dining room stuff to the big living room.
Hell yeah.
And so I needed a place where I could be, like I said, when my girlfriend's moving around and doing things in the house, I needed a place where I could just focus on this. So I spent a little money. I wanted to do it right.
Yeah.
Got the nice little thingy there instead of the one in my Mac. Got the super long, just horribly, embarrassingly long monitor.
Oh, the widescreen.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I find myself needing to look at 3 or 4 things at once. I used to see those people who were in Wall Street. I used to see friends of mine who were working those markets, and I would see 2 monitors side by side, maybe like 10, 15 years ago, back when I was just being an ass in New York. And I always thought it was like you're such a show off ass. Like, they built these things to be 1 monitor per computer. You have 2 monitors. What are they doing together? But now I understand.
Yeah.
You have to look at multiple screens at once. So got a nice little chair.
Yep.
I don't remember the brand. I'll give them a shout out though, because it's a comfy chair. Maybe I'll get some kind of
but anyways, so you mentioned, okay, you moved and like your girlfriend's doing this. You got your own room. What's your girlfriend think about this recent little, whatever you want to call this?
She went crazy when I went crazy at the beginning, but she's always been behind me, and she is 100% behind me. So she let me take up this desk that we have because she teaches as well. And so, she would take up this giant desk and put this giant monitor here, which like pushes out all of her studies. She teaches Spanish and Italian.
So
So she's very accommodating, and I thank her for that because it just became like my whole life is this. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. This is my full-time job, and the crazy thing is that I do it gladly. It's not like being paid by somebody. It's not like having a job 9 to 5. I don't even notice how long I do it but it's a passion, and you get drunk off of that. How do you say, direct relationship? Like everything I do, I can see it in real time. If I make a mention that says, let's support some artists, let's go look at their work, I can see in real time 50, 100, 150 people that, start liking comments, start going looking at the work. I put a show post out the other day. It blew my mind because show posts in my past have always been, just horrible things to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a show post the other day. It was like 500 people just commenting, loving, sharing, talking about each other's work. It was amazing. So
that is so cool, man. I was scared that if you went full time, that you would you'd feel the pressure of the fact that it's full time and now this is like a financial commitment type of thing. But it looks like you've nailed the transition.
No, yeah, that's the thing because it's full time passion.
Mm-hmm.
It's like playing video games full time, which is my other passion. The Twitch that I have, the streaming that I do. It's just I like to do those things. So if I do them 8 or 10 hours a day and nobody's like bothering me and I'm not bothering anybody, and now I can make income from that, why wouldn't I do that? Now, not only that, but I can show other people how to make income from that. Why wouldn't I do that? I teach every day. That's all I do is to show people how to be the best they can be. So
I asked you in the first recording about what your students thought of this, and I forget at that point. I can't remember what you had said, but what do they think now?
I hadn't seen them yet. I actually start tomorrow. Tomorrow's my first day.
Shit.
Yeah, because the semester is a little different at the school here. They have 3 semesters instead of 2 or 4. Yeah, but I start tomorrow, so I haven't even seen all of them.
Are you excited? Like, do you even want to go at this point? Like, I wouldn't be.
No. That's the thing. That job I love. I love teaching at the college. Okay. I absolutely love it. So I'll be honest, that's the reason I went back this year because here in Italy they have 2 kinds of contracts. One is full time all the time, like indefinite, and one is where they hire you every year, a year at a time. And so every year they ask you if you want to come back. I told them I'd love to because I love that part of the job. Yeah. I can still do that and lose absolutely no sleep to do this. Yeah. But again, it's not a 9 to 5. It's like 3 days a week. 5 hours a day.
Okay. Man, that'll be cool, man. I bet your students are like, I bet they have to know, right? They have to know who you are now. Okay.
Actually, I ran into one of them, believe it or not. She was in my show post. She was like, I can't believe that you're in NFTs. And then she showed me her work on Foundation. It was amazing. Yeah. Like, oh my God, I didn't see you do this kind of work, before. So yeah,
that is so cool.
It's so cool, man. And it's the only sad thing to me in NFTs is that no one knows about it yet. So I feel like we all know this big secret and we have these amazing conversations and no one in my real life or in my real world knows what they are.
Yeah. I'm still having trouble with that. I think no, it hasn't gotten easier in the last month. I mean, I'm still like talking about it and I'm getting like 1 or 2 people every now and then who are like, okay, so like what is this stuff? But it's just not, it's so hard to explain it. Like even with the money, dude, like I followed your advice. I led with money. It worked ? Because it takes a lot. Like as you know, I'm on the computer hours and hours a day. Like it takes work, especially like a front loaded effort. Like you do need to put in like a substantial amount of hours just to get into the game. And then you kind of like ride the wave.
Yeah, you can't just go in for a day and see what's happening in the league. Yeah, I got to thank you though because my mom actually was very interested when she started seeing the success of my collection, and she started seeing me sell. When she saw me sell that piece on Foundation, and that was collected for $8,000. That blew her mind. She's like, I gotta know what you're doing. And so I actually thank you because I sent her your video.
She commented, right? On the YouTube video. Right. Let's go.
Yeah, she did.
Shout out.
On YouTube. Yeah. Shout out to my mom.
Damn.
So is she asking? Is she trying to hop in and do some photography? Is she a photographer or?
No, she takes photos as a passion. Like she likes to take photos,
Okay.
but actually, I'll say it's 50-50 because she made a comment or two, about possibly looking into it. She didn't ridicule the situation or, talk down about it. She's, that would be so cool. But
Mhm.
she hasn't approached me to actually do it. So I'll wait and see, what she wants to do. That would be amazing, though. I would love
Wow.
to.
Could you
Yeah, she's got
imagine?
photos. She's got photos, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And she's on the internet and stuff too. She's very involved. She's on Instagram. My mom is very involved.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's cool.
my pops just likes the good news. He watches the news and he reads a paper and then he's like, "Oh, that's good news." Yeah. Yeah, he's not
That
into
is
the
so
tech.
funny.
I just got a Twitter notification from Muffins, the guy we looked at on OpenSea a second ago. I asked him if he had anything specific. He wanted to ask you if does anything go through your mind when you click the shutter button?
Jesus, muffins. Honestly, yes, all the time. I guess it's the same. Not fear. It was a very big fear when I first started back in 2000, 2001. That is a fear of not getting the photo that I want, that
Mm.
the eyes would be closed or something would fly in front of the, shutter or something would break or not go, or maybe I didn't have it on. A lot of times I went to grab a
Oh my
photo in the
God.
street and it wasn't even on yet. But now I think that fear is more of it's just an afterthought. It's
Mhm.
always still possible. Once a year I do totally F up a photo or forget something, leave a battery somewhere. But no, there's no fears anymore because technology is just so fast.
Mhm.
Now when I want to set the timing or the lighting or even, I mean, everything, focus was manual before, and even having two SD cards, before, because one would back up like on a 5D.
Mhm.
Just so many problems are not problems anymore. Now
Yeah.
I can, I'm gonna get that shot.
Yeah.
So no real fear. Just like a nudging feeling to make sure everything is set, I guess
Yeah.
you could say. Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
It's a
I
good
think
question though.
Yeah, I think the same. Probably when I'm taking, I'm just making sure it's composition is right and everything just looks correct. But there's not that. I mean, it's not that complicated when I take. I'm just because I guess once you know what you're doing, you're just like, all right.
Yeah. After a while, it just goes away.
Mhm.
It's a little, I guess you could say, you have to be more aware because I do a lot of street photography, and so street photography is really, since people are passing you by, since cars are moving, action is happening, like certain situations, like a couple hugging or a squirrel on a tree or random things,
Mhm.
you won't have another chance.
Yeah.
So I'm more aware that things need to be correct and I'm looking in the right way. Sometimes I just shoot, you know, underhand, or sometimes I'm a camera and I shoot overhand just to, like, I'm real good. I have very good aim with my camera at this point. I'm using it. But just to be able to take that shot from a distance sometimes and see if I got it. A lot of times it happens where I get the shot half second too early or half second too
Yeah.
late. Like a couple or a child or something. We playing, and then what happened 1 second before or
Mhm.
1 second after. But no,
What,
not too many fears
what kind of camera do you have?
there. I have many. I guess you could say the one I use the most is one I picked up a little while ago, 6D R2
Mm.
Canon. Real big fan of the EOS series, so I had a 5D Mark II. I got a one or two of the T1i, the T1i, like the T4i, those. Got a Hasselblad like from the 80s. Got a Mamiya, which is a Japanese uh, dual lens.
Mhm.
I think it's from like 675 maybe. Have a couple Minoltas, a couple of little tiny Sonys.
Yeah.
I still got some point and shoots
Do
here
you really?
somewhere. Those single shots. Yeah, because I started with those. 2000. I left college 2001. Right around the end of college, I think that last year of college where I first started taking photos. So I still had some. What do you call them? The throwaways. You
Yeah.
know. And yeah, a couple of point and shoots. Yeah, so I have a few.
Do you have any
I
film
like to
cameras?
collect them. Yeah, I have 500D, or is it no, it's a 50D from like 2006. I have a Leica, an old Leica. I need to get it working though because I'm not a Leica Pro, so I got to take it somewhere to get it fixed up. I got,
Mm.
I think, 4 film cameras. Yeah, I'll be honest. After like 15 or 16 cameras, you forget 1 or 2 in the mix. So yeah, but I just like to collect them and fix them up, make them look pretty.
Do you ever? Because my friend Nancy, I don't understand it. I'm gonna be honest. But she brings her film camera every now and then as like the only camera she has with her, and she uses it because she's like, oh, it's like because you only get like that one shot, and like you have to be careful because there's only like 20 like opportunities to take the shot, and I just don't understand. I'm like, why would you like? Why just not just bring a normal camera? You can take as many as you want, and for me, the quality difference is there, but like, is it there? Like, is it really there? Like, can you really notice unless you're like really looking for it? Do you ever bring anything like that on you or with you?
No, I mean, if I'm going to have fun, yes. If I have a lot of time, sure. I'll probably go out once a month, take a film camera, and just take old shots. Excuse me, not once a month, once a year. I'm not a big
Mm.
film camera guy, but yeah, I'll go out once a year in the summertime somehow. Just say, all right, I'm going to waste two rolls of film, see what I can
Mm.
do. Half the time I fail miserably. Yeah, just because the digital age was right around when I started, so I never really truly learned film.
Mm.
But honestly, I understand people that do it. It's dedication, and it's also something to be said for living on that. If I don't do it, it won't happen kind
Yeah.
of realm.
Yeah.
Like if I don't do it, I can still with a digital camera, I can still, if all else fails. I mean, not now. I haven't used automatic setting for 10 years, but let's say I'm starting out with a camera. If nothing else, I could put it on automatic and just let the camera do what it's going to do,
Mm.
before I get to the point where I'm learning. Film camera, you can't do that in any way, shape, or form. You just before you even start shooting, looking at the settings of the camera, you could be in total blackness for the next 20 shots if you have no
Mm.
idea what's going on. So people who do that, they really are dedicated. They are people who like that thrill of knowing that the shots that they get is purely on their experience and that the camera's only doing what they want it to do.
True.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um.
Yeah, I was. So in a second, I want to go through a little bit of your black and white days collection.
I'm so sorry, Cade. 1 second.
Yeah. What's up?
So I have an appointment from 4 to 5. Will you be available again in an hour?
Yes.
Oh my God. God.
Feast your
Wow.
eyes.
Oh
Feast
my.
your eyes.
Oh my.
I mean,
You know what I thought that was for a second?
uh,
I thought it was a space punk.
oh wow, that would have been high.
That would have been cool. Speaking of, you have let's see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, space punk. Yeah, I got a space punk and a dyno.
I think I got the right one, right? Hold on, let's see.
7944.
Yeah, I got to pull it up right here. Yeah, this is the space punk you bought, right?
That's me.
Okay. And then you got the dyno. You got the matching dyno.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Space Punk Club and the matching dynos also because they're going to do big things, especially because the matching numbers, I feel like that's going to pump things up too. So I'm wearing the right shirt for that.
Yeah, I'm with you on the space punks. I'm a big believer. I found them like really really early on, and I bought 2 of them, and then like the next day, what's his name, Journey Crypto, or he either like I forget. Like the next day, I found that Journey Crypto had bought them, which is like another influencer person, kind of like Alex Becker. And I was like, oh my God, I found like a really cool like NFT project. And I flipped one and then I'm holding one still. I paid way too much for it. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just hold it forever pretty much.
Yeah. But I dig it. I dig the artwork too. And the community is pretty good.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. We had a couple Twitter questions and then also, I think you saw them.
I saw 1 or 2 after I did the appointment that I had. But then
Yeah.
I got off real quick.
So right before we get into that, I want to go to your black and white days. This is your new project that you just released a couple, or like, I don't know what it was, like a week or 2 ago, maybe something like that.
Like 2.5, 3 weeks. I think I was still in Amsterdam when I dropped it. But I'm excited about this because for me, it's like every drop is becoming an experience, and in this NFT space, experience is invaluable. And so I learned a few things from dropping this. The first thing I wanted to see was if I had the power to drop something and have it sell out on my own accord, because I'm thankful for what Alex did and the shout out that he gave, but he wasn't involved in this in any way. He didn't buy pieces from this. Like he didn't promote this like he did the first one. So I was curious to see if I could sell 50 pieces, just off the photos. And the other thing was, this is the first time that I did actual planned way to drop it. So we did like a whitelist first. There were 5 people who bought a piece from another mini collection that I did called Black and White Nights, the After Party. And if you bought one of those pieces, then you got one of these for free. And so they got theirs first, which was smooth. And then I selected 10 people in a raffle from the Discord members that only they could be a part of. And then 10 people from the previous holders of Black and White Nights that only they could be a part of. And so the first 25 pieces went whitelisted that way. And it was pretty smooth. In 24 hours, we got everybody to get their piece, I think, except for 2 people at the end who just, didn't have ETH at that time. And so I held those 2 pieces for them. I wanted to give them a chance, but the others I gave out are sold in private sales. And so I was able to see also from that experience that it could be done rather smoothly. You know what I mean? And then the other 25 I dropped to the general public. And then when those 2 people had ETH like 3 or 4 days after, I gave them their piece. I gave one of them their pieces, and then the other one couldn't get it at that time, and so I auctioned it. But it was cool to see the 25 I dropped to the public. It sold out in 6 minutes, and even after Alex made a mention that sold out in 11 minutes, so it was twice as fast, which was crazy to me. But it went smooth. I learned a lot of things from that drop, and now it's still making sales every other day. It's I hope it hits that verified market of 100 ETH. That would be great to have 2 collections that were verified. I've already have the one, which is amazing. And so we're moving right along.
Yeah, man.
I'm pretty blessed.
You did that second launch like perfectly. It was crazy.
It was pretty smooth. Yeah. I was nervous.
You must have taken some like marketing classes or something. You just like, I don't know how you did it. You just like
easy, man. Fairness. That's how I did it. Fair. Everything was. I don't know if you saw the video that Coin Bureau just put up yesterday.
I watched it.
And there's an area in there when he's speaking about, because first he talks about Bored Ape, and he says there's a lot of companies that have anonymity, like they don't have they don't talk about what they do. The project is just making money, and they kind of stick to themselves. And then, as he mentioned, the other flip coin of that was projects that are fully open and like fully honest with the people and tell everybody what's going on. And as he did that, he showed my Black and White days and my Black and White nights on the screen, and it made me feel like I've achieved something, because what I've always tried to do is to be fair. It's so difficult to do, because man, I can't tell you the DMs about people who wanted to buy pieces on the low, hey man, I'll just give you 5 ETH, just let me get like 10 of them, so many messages of just people with money who were looking for ways to get in ahead of the crowd, And even a lot of people told me at the beginning they were nervous too, because they thought the second drop I would make it like 0.5 or, try to ride out the success of the first one. And I started at 0.1 because I wanted it to be accessible, And so all I did, I was just fair. I told people how I was going to go. I told people the plan that I had, which was half of them were to be whitelisted and given to people who supported me. The other half would be given to the general public. And it was smooth because it just worked out. That's all. I didn't do any cut deals. I didn't do any slipstreams or anything like that. And it was fair to everyone, and everybody was happy. So I have a few plans about things that I like to do, because I believe the community is really, we undervalue the community. No, I take that back. People who are in the community appreciate and love the community. But people who are just coming into the space, they undervalue the importance of community. Fidel, how did you do it? How did you sell? I mean, I wouldn't have done any of those sales if I wasn't shilling and retweeting and spreading information about people, and they were spreading information about me for 8-9 months. before enough people saw it to be sold, And so I want to try to work in something in projects that I have in the future that really does based on community and stuff. Then I think everything will just go smoothly.
Yeah, and it's even more important for art projects or photography, something that's not like like a profile picture one, especially if you're the figurehead, if you're like the guy, people are buying because they like you, they like your photography, they like everything about it. And I remember, I think it was our podcast, the one before, but I think it was in that one where I talked about if you blow up and you don't mean to, and it blows up for the wrong reason. Like if you had sold to that guy for 5 ETH and done it like not fair or whatever, and then you had somehow blown up because of like things like that, then it wouldn't be that great because you'd be like, shit, now I'm like kind of famous for something I wish I kind of wasn't famous for. But you're blowing up the exact right way you wanted to, which is like playing out your thesis that you planned out from the very start, from the first podcast we recorded.
Yeah, I'm lucky that way. I mean, lucky. I wanted it to happen that way. I was fortunate that it did happen that way. Because I've seen the folks that have problems with their drops and with things that they want to do. And now they have, everybody has a game plan. They have the, what you call it, the map, of what they plan for their collection to do. I'm noticing those more and more. I just kind of typed out what I wanted to do, and it seemed fair to everyone in my Discord. I think I have like 700 people in the Discord now.
Dude.
Yeah, just giving them the opportunity to tell me, hey, I'm going to do this. Is that cool? Like I heard the complaints and I heard the cheers for things that didn't work in their minds. And so I did what I thought worked for all of us. And we're sitting kind of pretty right now. So
hell yeah, dude. People like you. They fucking love you on Twitter, especially. I've seen you like more on Twitter than in the Discord. But anyways, let's pull up a couple of those Twitter questions. I saw one that was pretty cool.
I got to get in Discord a lot more often, to be honest. But I'm still learning. I've been on the layout my Discord page like a month, So everything is so fast. I just posted about it today. I feel like I should retire soon. I feel like I'm doing a retirement tour, and really nothing has happened yet. So.
All right, okay. Let's see what we got. So we got shout out Mr. at R3Load3D90, Mr. Radu. He said, what's your favorite city for taking photos besides Amsterdam?
Oh, yeah, Amsterdam's a good one. He's right about that. Has to be New York. I'm really big on street photography, and I'm really big on just the beauty of humanity. You know what I mean? I have so many experiences where you just happen to have a camera in your hand, and it was a little bit more difficult, let's say 15, 16, 17 years ago, because there weren't as many cameras, and so people weren't used to this idea of someone just randomly snapping a photo of them somewhere, So it was a little bit more tactical.
Sure.
But I really like New York. There's so many different corners and situations, so many different kinds of people, and I photographed like fights and love and people doing crazy thing on the subways, and it's just full of things to photograph. So yeah, definitely New York.
Yeah, New York's great. I did some street photography in New York, and that was so much fun. It's just there's nothing like New York City, man. There's no city that has come close for me.
There are a few that have the feel of New York. I can
Which
say.
Ones?
Well, honestly, Paris for me feels a little bit like that. LA has that feel, just more spread out, a little less personal, but that feeling of more being anonymous because there's so many different people, and losing yourself. London's a little bit like that, the outskirts of London. And I mean, real big cities like Mexico City, places where, just that big city feeling. Yeah.
Sure.
But New York I think maybe because we fall in love also with New York so much through videos and movies and stuff that we kind of know it before we get to it.
Sure.
I wasn't born in New York. I was actually born in Seoul, South Korea, But I spent 15 years in New York, and it's just like the movies. You feel like you're living in a movie, so it has a special feel to it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it lives up to the hype. That's the main thing for me. Like when I got to New York, I was like, oh, this is exactly what I was thinking. And most cities I go to it, I'm like, I'm not sure what I was thinking, but this kind of wasn't it, I guess. And New York, I walked in, and I was like, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, I was the same way. I first saw it in '93 when my parents and my family moved from Italy to go to Kansas, actually, because my mom was in the military. And then when I was there, it was like 13, 14 years old. I said, yeah, I'm going to live here one day. You know, I'm
Oh
going to have
yeah.
it one. And then, yeah, 2001, I moved there, and I stayed there until 2015, you know, when I moved here to Italy. So, yeah,
Oh
it was
yeah,
a good
man.
experience. Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of things happened. Shot those photos there. So,
Hey, shout out New York City. Italian or American food?
yeah, if I want to die like in my 80s, Italian food. If I'm purely going on choices and the craziness that Americans have been known for to do to their
Mm,
food and the combinations and things and tastes, American food.
interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting answer. Interesting answer.
yeah. Because Italian is, you know, one kind of food in my mind, at least. I mean,
Hmm.
cuisine wise, there's a million plates. But American is a combination of, especially New York. When I think American, I think of like, you know, all kinds of combinations of foods, not just one country style. So yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Plus Taco Bell.
Oh, dude, Taco Bell. Taco Bell for the win.
My girlfriend hates Taco Bell, but she lives in Mexico City for 10 years, so she hates
That's
tacos.
so funny.
I just love Taco Bell.
They don't have that where you're at, right? Yeah.
Now, there's an American base here nearby in Vicenza, and they have a Taco Bell in there, so I can take an hour ride and go to Taco Bell if I want. But yeah, here in Verona now, they have you know, McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, things like that.
Yeah.
Fire. All right, this is the last question. We're gonna wrap it up with this last one. If you weren't into teaching or photography, what job would you be in? What career? What would your life look like?
I'd be an actor, hands down. That's why I moved to New York in 2001 was to act.
Mhm.
I was doing theater in college. I met a director who was, excuse me, I met a director who was from New York because I was in a show there. And where was I? It was at it was like an expo, it was a film festival expo in Louisiana or South Carolina. It was South Carolina.
South
And
Carolina, shout out. It's my
yeah,
hometown.
and so I got a connection there, and then I decided to leave school because I don't know, college really wasn't my thing. I enjoyed all the perks of college. I didn't actually enjoy the, you know, the books.
Same.
Yeah, so I just moved to New York. I said I'm gonna go try it. I took a semester where I did the semester in New York, so not a semester abroad, but just in a different city
Yeah.
online. And yeah, after that 1 year, I just stopped doing the schoolwork and I started acting. I
That's
did
dope,
that
dude.
for like 2 or 3 years. Yeah, yeah.
That's dope.
Would have been nice to. I was too tall though. I was way too tall for things. I actually had a lot of auditions. I met a lot of good people there because I was in that nightlife.
Yeah.
I was in photography. I was throwing parties, and so I met a lot of, I guess you could say, B-list actors
Mhm.
who actually got me into a lot of auditions for, you know, New York. It's Law and Order and
Yeah.
everything crime related. Those TV shows, and I was always too tall. I remember the line.
Damn.
Yeah, too tall
Wow.
to be the partner of this guy because this guy was too short, or
Yeah.
too tall to play the cop who does the thing because
How
you know,
how
the
tall are
role
you?
is too small. I'm 6'8".
Oh my God.
So.
Okay, okay. I was thinking like 6'2", 6'8" is not what I expected.
Yeah, no, I'm very tall. Yeah, I'm 6'8",
Holy shit.
and I just after a while I played a lot of like bouncers and bad guys, you know,
Yeah.
street thugs, a lot of background stuff. And then I actually became a bouncer because, you know, from doing the parties, I became a bouncer. Then I started doing the door, and then it was to a whole other world. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good experience. But I would have loved to be an actor. Who knows?
You still could,
Maybe
man.
when
I
I'm
mean,
older, I'm older, I'll shrink 6 inches.
Well, the thing is, like with acting, they need people who are old for actors. Like if you're like 75 and you're like, you know what, I kind of want to act. Like they need people who are 75, and might need a tall guy who's 75. That might be perfect.
That's it, man. I could just play a guy that's always sitting down.
All right. Well, I want to end this on one question that I have. So, or if you have any, did you have any from your black and white days collection that's your favorite by far? Is there any of those where you were like, that one?
I'm not going to answer that question only because I don't want to single out anybody who has or
that's
doesn't
true.
have pieces. But
Is there one
I
though?
will tell you, yeah, of course there is. but the favorite photos of mine are because of the memories, not necessarily the photo. It's just kind of a habit that when I look at a photo now, I don't remember the particularities of the physical photo. I remember the memories of how I shot it, how much work it was, or whether it was just like really easy. And so, yeah, I love all those shots. It actually took me some time to curate those collections. It When I told people, I needed a couple of weeks to really decide what to put in them, it was for a reason. I wanted different cities, different memories, different feelings. And so, yeah, there's 5 or 6 in there that are by far my favorites based on the memory. Yeah, because those are more a part of me. Whereas Black and White Nights, I didn't know 90% of those people in the photos. It was very fun and a lot of parties and things and events like that, but they were just people who agreed to be at a party where it was photographed. Because I always told people I was photographing.
I agree with you on what you said about like the picture being your favorite because of like memories and stuff. Because my first collection, the one that you blew up, while those memories were amazing for me, and it was like my big trip and all that. My second collection, the prequel, as far as memories attached to those photos, those mean more to me just because I remember all the feelings of like anxiety, and I remember what I was going through, trying to work up the courage to like leave for that trip, And so that second collection, while it didn't do as well, some of those photos mean so much more to me than some of the cool, like whatever shots I got on the trips. So I totally understand what you're saying there.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually bookmarked that.
What?
That second collection you got.
Did you?
Yeah. To my books. Yeah. I like it. I have to be tactical.
Yeah.
What I don't want to do is no, let me take that back. That's not what I mean to say. It's not tactics. It's I want to be fair.
I understand.
There are people that had collections and they have another 2 collections after. And the DMs and they're like, you bought 2, can you buy 2? Can you buy 2? And I do appreciate that, and I will go back and get, different pieces from different people's collections. But I'm trying to divvy out the well-being that I've gotten. I'm trying to divvy that out a little bit out to other people that are new to the space and stuff like that. So
man.
But I got you.
Well, so actually, it's interesting.
When I launched that second one, secretly I was kind of hoping the exact same thing you were thinking when you released your second one. You were like, I wonder if I can make this work without like a shill from someone huge. And so when I was kind of hoping you wouldn't. Well, I was hoping you'd see it, but I was hoping you wouldn't like say anything because it didn't do as well. But I think I kind of got lucky with the fact that that first collection you found it like the day after. And you had told me Black and White Nights has been up for a while before you made any sales, and same with like a lot of your other photos. So
yeah, people don't realize that I put that up in March. Yeah, I put that up in March.
Yeah.
And it wasn't noticed until maybe July was when I first got my sales. Another thing people didn't realize, it had sales before Alex. It wasn't just sitting there.
Sure.
I'd already sold 6 or 7 pieces, I think. But yeah, it's man, you just got to share that with the space, man, especially having the microphone and the video, because 100%. There's a lot of people that it's the same. You want to test your metal, you want to see what it is that you do exactly, and I think it increases the success tenfold when it actually does happen.
100%.
When you get to a point where you're making drops and immediately half of them go, and then over time, when you get to that point, then nothing will make you feel like you've earned that more than when you did it.
Yeah, and honestly, the money, it's cool, but like it's not like I'm not selling each one for like a whole Ethereum each. It's like 0.0 something. So it's not like it's like a ton of money. So for me, I was kind of like, man, what if none of them really sell? But then like in a few months, when I've cultivated a group of people like you have in your Discord, my Discord's growing like kind of steady. I'm coming up on 100 too, so I'm proud of myself. And I was like, it'd be kind of cool if like way later down the line, the people that really fuck with me are like, whoa, hold on, you have a second collection that hasn't sold out, or like, oh shit, and like maybe they pick it up, something like that. So
yeah, that's what happens. And the same happened with my collection too. Same exact thing. When people realized that it was there and bought, they started looking for the other things that I had.
Yep.
And everything goes, That's why I always tell people, have your links ready, man. Have your information there, and have all of your, excuse me, I lost my train of thought. make sure that all your information is ready to go, because when people notice one of your pieces, they start spreading out. And even now, as a mini collector, there's a lot of times when people will show me, or I'll ask for information and they'll give it to me. And they'll say a million things and never give me a link or a page or, a price, or they give me a link. This is what I hate, is when they give me a link and I go to that and there are no prices. There's no, like it's just sitting there, and I don't want to make offers and wait and do auctions.
Exactly.
And, I just want to buy things, and, it's something to keep in mind. But yeah, you're right. That feeling of knowing that you put it out there and, it happened because you put it out there and you talked about it. If I can stretch this conversation out another minute, though, I'll tell people you really have to put work in. It's not easy, man. It's not easy at all. It's one of those things where, I mean, like I told you, and you know yourself, because when you're 7-8 hours a day, a lot of people put work there, and they send me a DM that's like, I just put this 10-piece collection up, and they joined Twitter like yesterday, and they, what can I do? You have to work it. You have to work in the community, to work on that and talk about it and promote it. When there's a sale, talk about the sale and how much it went for, give credit and tag people.
Oh, true. Yeah. That's very true.
You really got to build it up. You have to kind of baby it. Actually, most of the work that I did came after the drop.
Oh, dude. You went all out after it sold out.
Well, you had to. That's the thing. And that was a suggestion that I got from different people too. And there are some photographers out there who are making insane royalties. When you get to that point where you sell your 50 pieces, that's fine and dandy, but at the most that's going to be 1, 2, 3 ETH. Sure. So what you do after that is really the key. And I went and I looked at some of these bigger, I'm not gonna put names, but you guys know who I'm talking about. They're making like 100 ETH sales, 80 ETH sales, and they're pulling in 10% of that. That's where you really have time to focus on you really get the bonuses from focusing that much time on your NFTs. So you can sit at home and do work instead of going to work 9 to 5 every day.
100%.
Yeah. So don't forget to put in work, after you drop, when it sells out, that's great, guys. But that's the time when you got to start putting in work. That's the time when you have to get on Twitter and answer questions. Yeah, it's true though. And I got it all from people who did it before me.
And now I didn't even think about the fact of like public. I mean, do they tweet you when they buy it? Is that how you know who buys it?
Now you got to go there and look.
You just got to look and find them. Right on.
Yeah, that's
the dirty work.
I go to OpenSea. I go to my black and white. I go to all 3 collections generally 4 times a day, each one.
Wow.
Just give it a couple hours and I look, because as soon as it sells, I want to be the first person to let everybody know the thing that you totally forgot about, which was really only 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It made another sale. It's still doing well, and then the person, if they don't mind, and you'll know if they mind or not, because you start to get a read on what collectors' profiles really look like. A lot of people have this idea, and I think I had this idea too when I first started, that collectors had like 100,000 followers and everything was plastered, and they, had these giant wallets, and they'd go to their OpenSea or wherever, and they'd have these big collections with all this notoriety. It's actually the opposite. The biggest collectors of my pieces that I found had like 5 followers. They didn't have any name that was memorable. They weren't any in the OpenSea. It was like, numbers or something. Most of my foundation pieces, they've been taken off auction by numbers. I never know who these people are.
Wow.
So there's some that you'll notice they want to be noticed, and others that you'll never find them no matter what. You just thank them anonymously,
Okay.
But I try to do that. Keeps people involved. There's a lot of work to be done after your collection.
That's so true. Well, I'm glad I know that now. I'm gonna go back into my first collection and do some of that, because that just didn't occur. That's what I told you. No talent, natural talent up here. It's all learned.
We learn together, man. Because like I told you, I went and checked with people and asked people, and I was fortunate because a couple of people DM'd me that were high up in that market, and they knew. I guess they presumed what was about to happen to my collection, so they just out of the blue sent me a message. So I try to do the same with other people. I really do honestly answer every DM I get. I try to at least answer the question that they send me, because I think people should know how to have success. There's nothing that's stopping us from all having success.
It's true.
Absolutely nothing. We're not in a gallery where we're fighting for wall space. We're not in some kind of expo where we're fighting for a booth to show up our photos. We could all be rich, and we can all be well off, and we can all be financially secure and have health insurance, all from NFTs. And it wouldn't change the market of NFTs at all. It's like all the people who are rich off Bitcoin,
Yeah.
or Ether, or Apple stocks, or hundreds and thousands of millionaires. It won't change anything. So yeah, I'm trying to get us to that point. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, you're the classic example of, like, when you have money, I'm a firm believer in this, at least. It brings out who you really are. I don't think money corrupts. I think it just shows who you really, really were inside. And I'm so glad that you were given, like, everything is happening for you is happening to you because you're just the best dude, man. It's really cool watching this.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thanks for asking me to come on the show, because I love the ability, or I love the ability to be able to tell people things that I've learned, instead of trying to talk to one person at a time. So
man,
this gives me more communication. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. I wish you were one of my teachers, especially photography, dude. Like that. Oh, that'd be cool. That'd have been cool.
You never know, man. I'm still teaching, so you find your way out here in Europe. You come take class. I do private lessons too sometimes. I don't know if that.
Dude, that would be cool. That would be cool.
Yeah, I did it in New York. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, we'll keep in touch.
Right on.
We'll keep in touch.
Hey, man, well, thanks for coming on. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Joyage Podcast, TikTok, and Instagram. Peace.